Three, two, one.
Good morning, and it's another edition of Talent Talk. Today is Friday. You know what? I just forgot the date. It's the 20th of November, if you can believe it. With me, of course, today on screen is yo girl, Davina Clarity.
Good morning, Friday.
Hey. And keeping it together on the back end, we have Christina Salcedo.
Woohoo! Hey, Christina.
And we got a packed day. You know, a lot of times we will take the time to let you know, looking at numbers, and we also know sometimes numbers can be one of those things that can cause the eyes to glaze over. But it's really important to understand those things. But today, last week, we talked about we wanted to look forward. We're starting to wrap up the year here. It has been an interesting year, to say the least. But we also want to look at, we just had a presidential election. We've got all that playing out. But as we look at a change in administration, also to give a little insight as to what we see happening in the new year. But so many things could happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I look so like I'm a mid, they're just barely making it into the screen. I don't know what, but I'm distracted.
Oh, let me join you.
Let's see. Help a sister out here. But yeah, for sure, we are in the midst of change, and just as we're going through change, it ain't over, and we're going to continue to need to be, you know, flexible, and you know, I won't use the word agreeable, but you know, I will use the word open-minded, and yeah, I could, some of the word might be obedient. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on that we've never actually experienced before in history, and there's a lot of good things that have come with it, and there's a lot of things that people could see or find discouraging. But what we want to do is we want to help you guys find the light, and give you guys information on what is going on, how it affects our marketplace, how it could affect some of the other things that we're doing. We're going to talk a little bit about COVID today, and some of the guidelines. I won't even call, you know, restrictions, guidelines that have come across, and so that we could, yeah. So it's good. Life, we are breathing, and life is as good as we make it, and it's all about what filter we're going to use to see through that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. We've got a lot of good things that are in store. The news, I was playing around with the camera as you were, and then I kind of get that James Bond feel. Like I want me shaken, not stirred.
You are something else.
Good morning, David. Good to see you again. So, you know what? At this time, we typically go into what's happening with some new listings that our offices have brought on the market and some open houses. But you know what? Something occurred.
I'm sure you're so proud of yourself.
I just feel playful on that, but you know, can certainly feel playful on it. But last week, the governor was supposed to have an announcement on Monday. You know, the previous Thursday, he'd come on TV just to caution about the increasing infection rates, and that we should be careful with family gatherings, and that there was likely to be more to come. There was something that was set for Monday, and we were all getting in anticipation of what that might be, what might be coming down. And then it got moved up to Sunday morning. And on Sunday morning, the news came through, and for a lot of people, it's going to make the holiday season somewhat tough. And we understand we're balancing health and economy and all these things together. We also, within there, so restaurants, we know that retail stores, et cetera, certainly are very directly impacted. but even some real estate activities were impacted. So we really needed to look at how that might impact, or what that effect might be inside of real estate, because we've got a market that has been incredibly not only resilient, but has actually boosted itself, especially over the latter part, mid to latter part of the year, right? So when we looked at those, what did you see on as it pertained to real estate?
In regards to some of the restrictions for real estate, the biggest impact for real estate is really the open houses for us in regards to activities from what came down from the governor. And one of the things is I think the biggest impact might be more of a how we see guidelines changing, and the change more than, more of more not the physical impact, but just kind of like the psychological impact of all of this that might happen with our sellers and our buyers. And it's our job to really encourage and inform the public that real estate is still in business. We are still able to show homes. We are with safety guidelines. We'll talk about interest rates in a little bit, but I mean, those rates are still at an all-time low. So in regards to the impact for us, our businesses, our brick and mortar businesses are not open to the public. So I mean, that's another. Our staff is now working at home. So those are the two biggest things that we've seen in regards to how the effect of this is the open houses. So now, but here's the thing. We've gone through this before, right? Yeah. We've been down this road. So we are a lot more prepared mentally and physically in regards to the steps that we have to take to make sure that we are abiding by the guidelines and keeping everyone safe.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. With the restrictions, it could be that it could feel like a body blow, right? Because we've been dealing with it for such a long time, and it feels like as we start to climb out of what we've been working through, to go backwards feels, in some ways, it hurts, right? But really, it's just the feeling. I mean, if we think about it, again, you mentioned like open houses are really the only thing that is changed inside of real estate. But the mindset of some buyers and sellers, they're going to be impacted just on the mental side of things. For some real estate agents, it may be one of those things that, here we go again. And we saw that hesitation in the market before. But really, the feelings that, I have is we don't have to participate in the hesitation, right? Is we can continue to move forward. And as a matter of fact, for our buyers and sellers, this may actually create opportunities where if there are other competitive buyers out there that are going to hesitate or going to stop during this time, it may present opportunities to compete for properties that they did not have before, where it was so super competitive. It may ease a little bit and give them a better opportunity. And then for sellers, not having to go and in the market, really becoming the premier listing on the market. I mean, there's certainly ways of looking at this in a really positive light. And our whole job is to what? Is to serve others, is to help other people achieve their dreams. So I actually, I know we could look at it one way, but really there are opportunities to really help people now.
Yep, absolutely. Agreed.
So
go ahead.
Let's see, David, last time, did the restrictions have any effect on buyers looking for homes? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it did. Davina, you mentioned it really well. You said about when it happened the first time, we just didn't know what to do, and buyers didn't know what to do. Sellers didn't know what to do, but we've been learning how to show and sell homes safely now for 8 months?
Right. And the number of buyers. So one of the things that, when we started with COVID, and we were out of business for, it was probably about 24 hours that we were shut down. We weren't even essential. But that was very, very short-lived. And we've been able to do activities since. Buyers have been able to get into homes. However, there had been an uncertainty on the safety. We've had protocols that have come down, and we've been doing it safe from day one because that was the only reason. The only way we could do it is safely. But there was a limit on how many buyers. It was one buyer at one time, one buyer and one agent in a home, and we had to be very. I mean, you've got 3 people that need to see a house. You got to show one house 3 times, right, to each person. So, but the thing is that the restrictions, even though they had been a lot tighter, even in the beginning, we still had real estate has been has always since the beginning. Other than that one day, we've been able to do our real estate business.
Yeah, and we learned how to do virtual showings during that
Mhm.
time. We learned how to do virtual open houses.
Mhm.
We really have grown in there. And yeah, so answering David's question, yeah, we definitely saw an impact when it first came down. If we experience any level of a hesitation this time, though, I think it's more mindset than the actual restrictions themselves. Just some people have grown weary during this time.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were talking a little bit earlier. There was an economist that we just recently had a presentation from, and regarding the dip in just the real estate activities, it was like the 2007, 8, 9, the dip that we had, the when we had the recession several years ago, we saw that. But then we've also seen a big, huge recovery within that time. Now, we expect that there might be a little bit of a slight hesitation just because of mindsets, like as we said before. So,
Yeah,
but we can power through that.
And you know what? For next week, we've got Thanksgiving weekend, so we're not going to be on next week. But the week after, there are, another area that people have a lot of questions about, and we'd like to line something up for a Money Town talk. But also, there's a lot of evidence, like with the forbearances and the possibility of what's going to happen with foreclosures, etc. That's a really good conversation to have, and there are people who are reading the tea leaves in different ways. But we can let you in on when we come back the Friday after, a little bit about what we see in the news, because really, you mentioned 2007, 8, 9, that area when the market really dipped and crashed. It's very different today, but that is for another day. You ready to talk about what's coming on the market today?
Let's do it.
Are we going to see any open houses this weekend?
Let's see.
Only on virtual. Here you go.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about our first new listing. It is from our Megan Gillespie out of our John Scott Lacey office. It is 9907 Dotson Street Southeast in Yelm. Really nice home. It is a 4-bedroom. It is a 3.25 bath. 2853 square feet. It's got an open floor plan, a den, a large 3rd floor bonus space, tankless water heater, fully fenced backyard. So definitely want to check this home out. Brand new, again, from Megan Gillespie out of our Lacey office, and it's listed at $430,000. Actually, when we look at that $430,000, that is our average price point in our marketplace. This is going to be a hot one. Check it out.
See, you said average price point, right? Check out a spacious sanctuary in over an acre land, looking for a second owner, well cared for, goat barn, extra shed, detached garage. You got to definitely read on this listing. This is at 317 Country Estates Court West in Rainier. This is brought to you by Susie Williams out of our Olympia office. It is a 2,060 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home on 1.13 acres of land, listed at $430,000. You'll definitely want to get out there and check it out today.
Awesome. And we also have another one. Wow. Here we go. 2613 Angus Drive Southeast in Tenino. And this is listed. We've got Kathy Jo and Vina Vote out of our Olympia office. And look at this. It is 10-acre parcel. You've got fish and wildlife land. I mean, there is also a well and a pressure tank that are also installed to give you crystal clear water. Look at that. And it's also wired for a generator. So I'll just read here. Bring your imagination, build your dream home, powers at the bottom of the hill. Feel like you're on top of the world in this private wooded property. I'm ready to go. Let's go. It's right in between Tumwater and Tenino. No drive-bys on this because the agents have to be present to show. So contact Kathy, Joe, and Vina. This one is listed at $170,000. Sounds like a dream.
Nice. So we've got one more. This is from Cassidy Perkins in our Olympia office. It's at 120 East Valley Castle Way in Shelton, Washington. This is a 3-bedroom, 1 3/4 bath, 1,152 square foot on 12,197 square foot lot, listed for $315,000. So you should definitely take a peek at this beautiful rambler on 1/3 of an acre. This is you know what? As always, check it out. And gotta love the photo. I mean, I love the twilight photo right there.
Yeah, definitely. And also a reminder of our Nikki listing out of our Olympia office at 4422 Goldcrest Drive Northwest in Olympia. It is a just under 2,500 square foot, 2-story, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath with an upstairs loft. It's covered patio, fully fenced backyard. Definitely check this out, listed at an affordable $450,000.
Speaking of affordable, if you are over 55, we have a manufactured home in a 55 over community, low fees, $39,000. It's one of those things you have to go out and check out. It is 1,248 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1.75 bath, brought to you by Liz Anderson from our Olympia office.
And Liz has another jewel here in Chehalis, 2910 Jackson Highway. And it is on over 2 acres, 2-bedroom, 1.75 bath, just under 1,500 square feet. And it's an income property, 30 storage units, got a separate additional dwelling unit, mud room. It's got tons of possibilities. 2910, again, Jackson Highway in Chehalis, listed at $399. Contact Liz Anderson out of our Olympia office.
$399? Are you out of your mind? All right. And last but not least, we have Olympia's finest community at Mill Pond. It's open Friday through Wednesday. Actually, it says open houses, but with the new restrictions, just call in. We should get that number up in the comments for you, and we can coordinate those showings for you. They are fantastic. If you haven't been over there, I highly recommend it. And that is the open house. Well, I say open houses, but those are the new listings.
It's virtually open, so everything is open by appointment only. So yeah. The homes are accessible. We can show safely.
Yeah.
Our numbers are up to 5. We can do up to 5 people at a showing, in a showing. So a family can come in and see a home, or a group can come and see a home at one time. And that's not including the agent. So 6, including the agent. So we can get you into any house that's on the market with an appointment based on the showing instructions. So,
yeah. And we know how to show them safely. Just, wear your mask and we will help you out.
That's right.
You know what? Last week, we let you know what birthdays and anniversaries we were celebrating. And I jumped up a week instead of just actually doing the one. So tell you what, these are actually we've got. We had a happy birthday this Saturday to Anna Lamont. We've got Mark Cancino celebrated on the 17th, and Blythe from our Olympia office, Lacey office, celebrated her birthday on the 18th. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's going to take me back to my Red Robin days. Happy birthday on this birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, that's terrible. And then we had two anniversaries this past week. Amy Frazier from our DuPont office on Monday, and Amber Piquet. She is a rock solid individual helping us keep all of this moving together. She celebrated her anniversary yesterday.
Yay. We need to change Amber's last name. She recently got married. So.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to start amending that. Is she going hyphenated or is she actually changing?
I think it's hyphenated, but I'm not positive. We'll have to ask. We'll have to ask her.
All right.
Christy probably knows. Christy knows everything.
All right. So at this point, we normally start to put up some headlines and some other things. On this one, there's kind of a little free flow. We knew in terms of conversation, today would be much more conversational, not necessarily as structured based on what we're talking about. But one little piece of information, and Davina, you'd referenced this earlier, is mortgage rates and what's going on with the mortgage rates. So we have been seeing mortgage rates like trickle, tick, 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 continue ticking down. We felt like it's the limbo. How low can you go? We found out this past week we can still go lower. It's amazing. The average rate across the U.S. this past week was 2.72%, and that rate is again another low record-breaking rate, the lowest in nearly 50 years of tracking. It is 6 basis points down, which is a huge drop. And can you guess what the 15-year rate is? Average, no buy downs or anything else.
2.71.
The 15, 2.28.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
Wow. You know, you know what? And I had a conversation with someone, I can't remember who it was the other day, and they were just saying that they were in the midst of a refinance, and they literally refinanced from a 30 to a 15 year, and their payment, they just literally chopped off. I want to say it was like 10 years of payments, and their payment was like the same. I was like, whoa. I mean, crazy.
Man. All right. It's amazing. It really, truly is. Now is a great time either for refinance, but if you refinance, you're probably going to be in your home forever. It may be an opportunity if you have been considering doing a price jump and getting into your dream home. You may find that maybe for what you're already paying, you may be able to make that jump into your dream home for that or just a little bit more where you really want to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has been 17 consecutive weeks of mortgage rates being below 3%. And we'll take a small moment on here, but if anybody wants, do you want to guess how many times we've broken a record this year on the low interest rates? So we'll talk about one thing and get back to that. So put your guesses in. I know all of you are just—
Is that the trivia question, like the pop-up trivia question? How many times? Christy,
how many times has the record been broken this year? I mean, we'll tell you in just a moment. But mortgage rate projections. So this is one of the things. Davina, you mentioned Lawrence Yun, or when you and I were talking, Lawrence Yun is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. And he was talking about 2021. And we're going to segue out of the mortgage rates into talking about the elections. But one of those things, so I guess I'll ask you this after that, David. I set you up just to like stop you, right?
Yep. Okay.
The mortgage rate projections. So if you look across mortgage rates projections into 2021, it's amazing. They are still from Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, Mortgage Brokers Association, National Association of Realtors. They're all anticipating all the way through 2021 being right about 3. I mean, for years we've been talking about mortgage rates climbing back to 4 or 5%, but with the hanging on to the pandemic and all the things going on, it doesn't look like anybody's comfortable moving them yet, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was what, Lawrence Yun was basically saying, through 2021, as long as our rates stay low, the problem is inventory, and we need more new construction. So to help create more homes for buyers and consumers. So that is our problem right now, is inventory. And as long as those rates stay low, if we get more homes for people to get into, that is the issue, is the inventory right now.
Yeah. You said that, and I heard something just the other day that was actually kind of brilliant. I hadn't thought about it like this, because you're talking about affordability. You're talking about building the inventory and getting that inventory built up. We've also seen people moving out of the urban areas, right, into the highly concentrated areas, out to more rural areas. And someone had mentioned in a conversation that, that's really true. We are seeing people move out of the cities into more of the suburbs or more rural areas as they can work from home, etc. But the people that are buying homes, what are they also actually doing? They're selling homes too. So even though we have this shift of population moving outwards a little bit, guess what? The homes they're selling are still being bought. So when we're looking at it and we have a low inventory of homes, and which is what we have all across, that's not just indicative that we're moving out of the cities. We're actually just growing as a whole, and that's actually a really positive thing. So I mean, we may be losing that hotspot inside of Seattle, maybe seeing people start to move outwards, but we're still seeing more people move in too. Kind of amazing.
Yep, absolutely. Here's the question. Oh, Christy, you're so good. How many times has the mortgage record been broken this year? And so just drop your answers in the comments. Okay, we actually have a couple of people that are actually responding, so this is great.
So Donna, 6. Do you think you're right? Amber, you think 11. You know what? I know the answer. So, all right. We'll do a quick countdown. So you have 5 seconds in. So even if you're watching on a recast, you can get your answer in now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, Davina, I know before this we talked about it, but I don't know if you caught the number when we were talking. Did you catch that number?
I did not.
Do you want to take a guess?
This year, how many times?
This year, have we broke a new low interest rate average?
I am going to say, I'm just going to go wild, okay? And I'm going to say 25.
Oh, wow. We got a spectrum here. Let's split the difference. Lucky number 13. That's more than once a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty darn amazing, right?
That is.
All right. So we've got 2 things to cover just before, so we won't go too deep into it. We talked about the election and what it might mean in real estate. And do we really know? I mean, we're going to have to live it, and we can just kind of look at what the intent might be and just look at what the market is right now and see how it might progress forward or how that might project forward. So here are a couple things to consider. Davina, just even before giving kind of some of the thoughts into it, what do you personally think about 2021 and real estate? And do you think the real estate market is a little agnostic to the election, or what do you think about that?
Well, I will say, you need to sit down. You need to sit down for this. You got to sit down for this. I will say that I really think that real estate right now is going to continue to be in a place where we can have positive growth, honestly. I mean, I really do. I mean, obviously we don't have a crystal ball, but if we look at the pandemic, We look at, usually election year over election year, there's kind of like a hesitation because people aren't sure our interest rates going to be, affected, and but there are some things and initiatives that are actually moving forward in place that I think are going to be potentially healthy for our real estate economy. So I think we should have a positive outlook on real estate as a whole. And again, we have no crystal ball, but definitely there always is going to be an effect on what's happening globally. I mean, we would have never thought that coronavirus was going to come and literally just chop everything, all of our expectations. Like, I mean, literally, we were just blindsided by coronavirus, and how it had an effect on not just our economy, but just our lifestyles. And real estate definitely was affected by it. But as a whole, I look at how quickly we bounced back from just the unknown and moved forward. So I think that if we are continuing on the path that we are now, and this is the short answer, as you can see, I personally think that we are going to see some positive effects in real estate. And I'm keeping Dave Vina's glass is half full always, and I always have my rose-colored glasses on. And
yeah, and we'll end up talking about it when we come back. We're skipping 1 week for the Thanksgiving holiday. When we come back, we'll talk about a part of the market with the forbearance and that conversation, which is really interesting. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think most people tend to agree. If we just look at the what's going on inside of the market itself, with politics, I tend not to be very political. I try not to. And in so many ways, it feels, because you have two different parties, it really is a two-party system, especially at that national level, that they tend to be very much different shades of gray in so many ways. So, I mean, I think they tend to not impact too much. But we'll talk about a policy or two that we'll keep an eye on. Some of the positives in the market, you mentioned mortgage rates first and foremost. And if they continue to stay where they're at or very near, that's going to continue to encourage people to be able to move, to do things within the marketplace, appreciation for the prices. As long as that's continuing there, the inventory, we could have some slowdown, and it would actually be healthy, because it's such a significant lack of inventory right now that is creating not unnatural really, but almost like unnatural competition. I mean, there's so much competition for every decent home on the market. History says that it will play out. I mean, when we talk about the next one about the market and the different forces, you'll see that it's very different from previous. And really, finally, we've seen the engagement of the millennials in the marketplace. I mean, that is the biggest home buying group that's coming in and around, and we're starting to see that impact through there. So many things are truly positive about it, that taking politics out of it, there really aren't signs that the real estate market is going to just stop for sure. A slowdown would actually be healthy, right? Because we're so accelerated right now. So I agree so much that this is fantastic. And then just a couple things on a changing administration that are there just for consideration. Don't know necessarily what they mean. What we understand with a Biden presidency would be he's looking at like $15,000 tax credits for new home buyers. And it sounds as though he really does support home ownerships. That would be a very positive thing for the market, especially for new home buyers looking to get into the marketplace, and some level of zoning reform. So we start to see some shifting population densities would be really positive as well. On the things to watch, there are two things in particular that are we would want to watch in there. Is one, and these are on kind of the investment side, but we need investors in there too, because they often are part of the housing solution. One of those is there's a possible elimination of the 1031 exchange. That would be interesting, right? Mm-hmm. And then another one is possibly wanting to stop real estate investors from being able to write off real estate losses. Now, at the beginning, when things are talked about, that can be very different than what can actually be implemented, right? So these are just things to keep an eye on. It sounds as though it should be relatively positive on the political front. And then from the market side, it really feels like we're not stepping into the new year. We're sprinting into the new year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And as we're talking about getting into the new year, and I won't jump ahead, but mentioning Thanksgiving is coming up, and just how differently we're doing things. So not just real estate, not just families or personal things that we're doing and how people are getting together. COVID has made us embrace technology a lot faster. It's made our way of life completely, we've pivoted hugely, quickly. And it's amazing to look at how much we've adapted in such a short period of time. And with the mask wearing, and I mean, it doesn't matter what side of the mask wearing you're on, whether you want to wear it or whether you don't want to wear it, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that, first it was people felt weird wearing them. Now people feel weird not wearing them, and identifying. I can go on and on just how much we've changed in such a short period of time. And I think the 2020 year has been, we thought that there was going to be, in going into it, we said, oh gosh, it's 2020. And in 2019, we're like, it's 2020. It's going to be this year of clarity. It's going to be this year of, we're going to be, growing and figuring things out, and life is going to be great. And then COVID hits, and we're like, we have no idea what's going on. We have no idea where we're going. And then now here we are. And I feel like this really has been a year of clarity for us. It's been a year of actually realizing what's important. As we've had to stay home, we've had to be in lockdown, we've had to regroup, we've had to rethink, and we all are different than we were, like the most transformational year ever. And I think that clarity, as I look back, has really been this year, so I just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, I like it because the one thing we're going to balance everything that we need to do to be safe. And I think we're, for the most part, everybody's going to be as responsible as you're able to be. But even as we progress forward as quickly as we have during this time, I really look forward to the more personal contact and the drawing together and the things that make us people. Because the one thing I don't want to get to is that vision. Do you remember WALL-E, like that little Pixar cartoon with the robot, and that all the people are on a spaceship, but they don't.
Bubbles, right?
They're like in the chairs that like move them all around, and they don't. I don't want to lose the relationships. So I mean, we'll work with our relationships as we need to right now to maintain, but really truly look forward to when we are able to get past this and get back to, we won't call it normal, but back to relationship, like real authentic relationship.
I think right now we've just realized how much more important our relationships and physical contact is.
Yeah.
More than anything. This has been that year.
Yeah. Okay. So in wrapping, because we're just a little bit over, we started just a little late. There's one thing, and we'll talk a little more about it because we'll learn a little more about it. Yesterday or the day before, the Department of Justice launched is actually suing the National Association of Realtors and the MLSs for what they call antitrust type of allegations in there. One of the things to take away from this is if you were to read through there, you would see a lot of things that are like, ooh, I'm not sure about that. We'll also try to touch on this on the next one when we can go a little more in depth on it. But the Northwest MLS in the area that we serve, was really truly proactive, and the things that are being talked about in this, for the most part, really have already been addressed in our area. And it's really cool to see that we're not waiting for things to happen, but we've got a very responsive and forward-thinking association, even our realtors, et cetera, working together in our local area to make sure that we're very aware and we're as open as it's possible to be. So
That's good. Yes.
all right. Well, then, you know what? We are at a point to wrap up. And you want to tackle that one real quick? I almost forgot.
Yeah. So so this is just for next week. So Monday, as we come back on for our Thanksgiving week, kind of a theme kind of tying into Thanksgiving is an event that happens yearly. And it happens on Camp Murray, and it is called the Holiday Magic. And it is a giving event for the holiday Christmas season. And we're going to have a couple of guests on that, put on that event every year. They're going to talk about the impact of that event for local families, specifically in our military communities. And they're going to be on Monday at 8:15, and going to talk about how you can participate if you qualify. We'll get information out to you, and we'll have them on as a guest on Monday.
Yeah, it's actually a really special thing. We participated, I think, the past couple of years, and it's the type of thing that we need to always do. So,
yeah. We are really in the season. I mean, we've just got catapulted from, it was like March, and now here it is, the end of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, well, on a wrap up then, thank you, Christy. Well, we've got a little special thing to end this off to wish you into the holiday. And on 3, Davian, do you want to count us out?
Yes. And also, because if you only join for our market updates, the next time we are back on is going to be in December, right? Will it be December?
It will be December. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So we will see you on Monday, but our next talent talk will be not next Friday, but the following week. So from here, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving if you're not joining us next Monday. But until then, we are wishing you a safe weekend. Just again, on the Be Bold, no matter what's in front of you, take that step, be positive, think about what is going well, right? How about that? And we'll see you back here on Monday. And let's do a big Be Bold on 3. And let's mean it from the bottom of our hearts. Raise the roof on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Be bold. Bye.
Bye, guys.